Okay, so last week at a news conference, Premier Doug Ford said Burlington is not fulfilling its housing development targets, which Burlington Mayor Marianne Meed Ward quickly rejected those comments. Well, the two met yesterday in Toronto, and we appreciate the mayor sticking around because you're on the show earlier doing your fashion stuff with me. So I appreciate you being on the couch with us this morning to kind of break down how'd it go.
You know what? It was a really good conversation. He was so generous with his time. We were there for an hour and a half. Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, Steve Clark, was there as well. And we talked about housing. It is all about how we all do our part. We talked about some of the challenges that Burlington's facing, talked about the ways that the provincial government can assist all municipalities as well as Burlington. But most important, we were able to talk about here's what is in Burlington's pipeline. So we have 38,000 units that are in our pipeline, and that's everything from pre-consultation, where a developer comes in and says, hey, I own this piece of land, what can I do with it? I'm thinking I might want to do X, all the way to here's your permit. And the data that was referred to by the Premier is all housing starts. That only tells a small part of the picture, and it's not reflective, really, of what's happening on the ground. We have cranes in the air in Burlington. We have hundreds of units under construction right now. We have thousands of units that have permits that are ready to go, and we're waiting for developers to come in and build. So it was a really good conversation around the different ways we can all contribute, because no one level of government is responsible for housing. We enable it. We don't build it.
Did you ask him, why did he target Burlington specifically?
Well, the housing starts were at the bottom of the list. And you know, when you compare Burlington to other municipalities where it's thousands of permits for one greenfield development, we don't have greenfield development in Burlington, nor do we want it. We're building multi-res units around our GO stations, aging retail plazas. That's one permit for, you know, hundreds of units.
This is something you sent out when he brought that up on Friday.
Yeah, and that's our pipeline. That shows what is available to, to turn from pipeline into permit. And that is our goal. We are in a housing crisis. Burlington is very much willing and doing our share. But that, I'll just point out the one number, waiting for site plan application, 3,000 units. That is waiting for developers to come in and apply for site plan. They've already got the planning approvals, the zoning approvals. They just have to come in and talk to our staff to get their site plan permit. 3,000 units. Another 7,600 units tied up at the tribunal. So these are things that are out of the municipality's control, and I think it's really important for all of us who care about housing, and we do, to have a conversation around where are the log jams, because it isn't just about the municipality. We've been taking the heat, and you know what? I'm okay to take the heat for the stuff we control. We can do permits faster. We are working really hard to speed that through, getting people through the pipeline to permit. But there are things we don't control. We don't control the land tribunal. We don't control whether builders actually come in and apply for site plan or get their permit. And they are facing issues, interest rates, supply chain issues, labor issues. So these are issues that federal and provincial governments can help with. So unless all of us stop, pointing the finger around whose fault it is today and say, let's work together and each of us do the part that only we can do, we're not going to solve this. And I left the meeting very optimistic, very, very helpful conversation with the Premier and the Minister, and they're very dedicated to working with municipalities.
I was going to say, did you learn anything from your meeting? Because it's pretty rare to get that much time. Like
it is,
a mayor to get an hour and a half.
Very generous.
With the Premier. Did you learn anything that you didn't know going into the meeting?
Well, they are going to be making some announcements about how they can help at the Association of Municipalities of Ontario. I don't know what they are, so you can't arm wrestle me to tell, but they are like charging ahead to say how can the province enable housing, enable municipalities, and so we're, there's some stuff coming.
Has it changed anything in your perspective at all since you were able to sit down with them?
Well, I think what was really important is just to make sure that we're all on the same page, right? Why are the numbers the way they are? What's actually happening in Burlington? He was very open to hearing that, but also sharing some of the challenges we're facing and how the province can help, and they're very open to that. And so, yeah, it was very much about how can we help each other and what are the issues you're facing. And again, I feel very optimistic. It was a great conversation, and He's now on my speed dial if I need to reach out and say, hey, I need you to help me.
Awesome. Well, Premier Ford, if you're watching, come and sit down on our couch. We'd love to hear you too and chat about some of those numbers. Thanks for being here and thanks for sticking around. Burlington Mayor Marianne Meed Ward taking a break, having our chit chat on this very couch when we come back.